Now I'm going to talk about mediation conferences. Mediation conferences are not there for resolution. What they're there for is so that the lawyers have got another reason to prolong these cases. Now, how it's been set up is that whatever is spoken within the mediation conference has to be kept secret. Now, for the life of me, why do you have to keep secret if someone is being unreasonable within these proceedings? And in fact, it was so fraudulently done that the guy who was actually doing it, he worked for legal aid. It was done on the legal aid premises. The mother was being paid the legal aid. At that stage, I couldn't actually get legal aid because I didn't know the address for the mother, and I received a letter from legal aid that unfortunately I cannot get legal aid because I didn't know the address of the mother. Now, for a father to get that, you know, it's pretty harmful. But that's how it's worded. But then if you keep on reading, and no father does, he gets to that and goes, this is just impossible. And but it says, you know, further on that if you've been waiting considerable time, blah blah blah, well, you know, they might change their mind. But the thing is it is purposely done that way. Now, these mediation conferences, what you have to do is plan with your lawyer, and if you've got a corrupt lawyer, and I guarantee you that a Lucette May Collette of legal aid is absolutely corrupt. There is evidence where there is even a witness of the mother's who even it states in the affidavit that she can't speak English, or hardly, she couldn't speak English to save a life. And the affidavit is perfectly written and actually signed in front of the mother's lawyer, and there is no interpreter, and also there's evidence on the first page that the lawyer actually helped raise the affidavit, yet it didn't state in the back that a lawyer actually helped raise the affidavit, and most certainly it didn't have that an interpreter is required to ensure the validity of the affidavit. And it is just so corruptly written that even a paragraph, it says, once I saw John naked, full stop. 2 or 3 times I saw John naked. So you can see that this was written in a rush and signed in a rush, and in fact it was so much of a rush to actually get it in that I received it the day of court. Now, this happened time and time again. Always, whatever you do, ignore the law. Your lawyer will ignore the law. Everyone will protect the lawyers. Lawyers always protect lawyers. Now, there's huge evidence of that. All you have to do is Google. And always doctors are getting in trouble for malpractice, but it's very, very, very rare that a lawyer will be charged for malpractice. And the reason is because lawyers protect lawyers, and basically they're the most corrupt bunch you'll ever meet. Now, I said it's really, really handy for you to actually have a paid Mackenzie friend and suggest that, you know, they're there just in case you don't understand a word that's being used. Everyone's entitled to an interpreter, so most definitely use it, because basically it'll just frustrate the father to no end, because if he knows that you speak perfect English and write perfect English, and even the psychiatrist is asked in the courtroom, well, does she speak perfect English? And the answer is yes. And did she understand you? Did you have to repeat stuff? No, she spoke perfect English and she understood. and then for the judge to turn around and get up my lawyer for asking lay questions to a professional. The whole thing is corrupt, but it works to your advantage anyway. So hang on. So always have it that because you are the one who's got the legal aid lawyer, what happens is legal aid will use that to their advantage, and more or less they've already they've basically got a cookbook, and I can prove that the second mother's lawyer is corrupt also, but I'll explain that later on. But what it is they have been doing this for so long, and what they do is secretively they let you know that you haven't got a chance in hell of winning, and what you do is you go to this mediation conference, and what I did was, and you know, not all fathers will be awake up to this, or you know that they can be so considerate, but I actually realized that it was all secret, and then if we actually weren't able to make a decision, well then it actually has to go to court. And I'm thinking, well gee, that could be a couple of months before I see my daughter. And I said, well, what so I wrote beforehand what was that, you know, there is no secret, I'm after equal shared parenting rights to my daughter. And I said, well, just in case, you know, the arrangement doesn't work and we're not allowed to talk about it, what is the bare minimum? What is the bare minimum time that you'll actually give me with my daughter, in the interest so that my daughter is not upset and stressed? What's the bare minimum? And they just, the Lucette Collette, the mother's lawyer, legal aid lawyer, just ignored, and then finally I said, if you can't even establish and give me that you're considering the best interests of my daughter, and even giving me what the bare minimum is, well then let's skip the conference. Anyway, she wrote back and she said, well, my client is prepared to give you supervised contact in a contact center. And I'm thinking, my goodness, why do I need to be supervised? And I couldn't understand it. And then it had the words, you'll be notified the reasons why at the mediation conference. In other words, they couldn't spell it out on paper, because you know that's their crafty little thing that they've got ready for me at the mediation. So whatever you do, record. If it is smelling like a rat, you record those mediation conferences. Ignore the law, because the whole system is corrupt. I have never wanted to ever break the law. I've never wanted to. Sure, I've got a couple speeding tickets. So's everyone. But the thing is to destroy someone this much through a corrupt judicial system, there is something incredibly wrong with this judicial system of Australia, and also this is happening all over the world. So the thing is yeah, she agreed with the mediation conference, and then all of a sudden I get this letter that it was cancelled because her interpreter wasn't available. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it took 3 months to actually organise this mediation conference, and they kept on stalling and dragging it out, and then all of a sudden they cancel it because an interpreter wasn't there. And then I see also that in the letter, I didn't know where the mother was living, of course, and it was I live in the biggest city in the world when it comes to distance. It is the biggest city in the world because we're so spread out. And so the mediation conference was on the other side of the planet, you may as well say, to get there. And I thought, oh my goodness, she must have been living there. So basically I didn't pick up on it at the time. But see, the idea is to wear you down. So anyway, I went to the mediation conference, and it was just bizarre. We weren't in the same room, and I thought a conference means you communicate, you talk directly with each other. But there wasn't even any communication whatsoever. There was only the intermediary who was employed by legal aid, who actually was the go-between between the two parties. I really don't know why we were there when and this is the other corrupt thing is we had already established what I wanted, and I said, you know, they could have told right there and then that well, then it's not necessary to have the mediation conference because what you're requesting is denied by the mother. Now this mediation guy, all I know is his name is John, and the reason is because he told me that he was going to help. He said that these people are being totally unreasonable. He was quite beside himself really after doing the mediation conference, and he said that he is going to write a letter with his documentation and say that the other party wasn't reasonable. Well, all I remember is that he said he will help, and I was pretty stressed out that I was accused of right there and then. I'm pretty sure one of the things was that I masturbated looking at my daughter. Now, I don't have CCTV in my bedroom. I refuse to have CCTV in my bedroom. This is just absurd that these allegations only come out and are done in secret, and you realize that these guys are going to play absolute hardball, and you think that the lawyers are there for the interests of the child when you realize they're not there for the interests of the child. That lawyer was interested in whatever maximum time she could get her client with the child. Now that is just wrong. Anyway, so what happened then was I've got a document on my John Astor Facebook page, which I will submit with this. If I forget, let me know. But it actually is fraud again, in that it wasn't signed even by this John fellow, and they actually omits putting his surname down as being the interviewing officer. And so all I know is that it's a John, and that it wasn't signed, and that somehow something has happened that it got misplaced. So I spoke about this to the children's lawyer. You can talk until you're blue in the face, and what the children's lawyer is a lawyer, and what they will do is they will protect the other lawyer. So if you're speaking up about criminal activity or things that are looking suspicious, they will not answer you, and in fact they'll use it against you later on that you're writing so much, and basically they won't bother looking at what is the content. They just look at the amount of paperwork that there is. So mediation conferences are not there for they are there to cruel the father in this case. So whatever you do, cook up an excellent story, but make sure that also in your affidavit, make sure that it's you who was the one who is stating that I cancelled the mediation, which is not true. and again, false allegations